Alright. Are you ready for this?
Oh, you're already making it sound like it's going to be a good one.
Maybe. It's one that you'll be opinionated on. Right. Boyfriend 28 male found out how much money I, 28 female, have. He wants me to pay off for a house for us as well as a new car and fund a trip for him to go abroad. Should I end it?
Is this a boyfriend?
Yes.
Yes.
Immediately, don't need to hear the rest. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I'll eat my hat if I have to, but just straight away, buying a new car, buying a trip for him to travel. Excuse me.
Yeah. So
Buying a house, okay, maybe. Like, there's an argument for a house, but it wouldn't be a house for.
for a house for him.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be a house for us. It would be a house for you. Like, if you had tons of money and we hadn't had a house, and you were like, had hundreds of thousands, I'd say, Josephine, you should go and buy a house. And we should live in it.
Okay. Fair enough.
But it's not like you're buying the house for us. No.
Okay, so
Buggy.
this is actually a really old post that I found.
Oh, okay.
So it's 8 years old, and just want to point out that the person who wrote this, their name is Family Heiress. Love that. Right, I want to make it clear that I have always spent money on my boyfriend, buying him nice things and whatnot. He got his PS4 and new gaming PC because of me. My boyfriend, however, found out that I have a good amount of money and has started to be quite weird about it. Several times he was referred to my money as our money and using our money to buy him the luxury car he's dreamt of having. He wants us to move out of separate apartments and get a house together, and has said that instead of getting him a small Christmas gift that I should fund a trip for him to see Europe. I'm from Italy and have family in Bulgaria, Croatia, and the Netherlands, and he's from Canada. Oh, wee little Canadian boy. Buying the luxury car, it's less whether I can afford it and more that it seems like something you get your husband or wife and not your boyfriend of 3 years. The house I can understand if we were engaged or something, but we aren't though. He has talked about marriage several times in the past few months, and finally, yes, I can afford a trip for both of us to tour Europe, but whereas it's something I might have thought of us to do before, he only brought this up after finding out I do have money and pay for it. Is this reason enough to break up with him? TLDR, found out my boyfriend found out I have money, and suddenly our relationship and the things he wants all stem from that.
I mean, my opinion hasn't changed. It seems to be that you've highlighted the pattern. You're already unhappy about it, which is why you're coming to Reddit. So.
I think it's one of those things where you shouldn't be thinking about breaking up in your relationship, and that if you are thinking about it, then it must be something fairly bad, and you can break up for a number of reasons. If the fact that you are uncomfortable with the amount of money that you think your boyfriend wants from you, then that is a pretty good reason, in my opinion, to break up. If for example, I was asking you to buy me a luxury car, we've been together the same amount as these people.
It's crazy.
Where's my Bugatti Veyron, Aaron?
Yeah, right. No, it's absolutely mad when you think about it. It'd be a little bit different if he. So look, let's put some numbers to this. If she was on 150k a year, or let's say she had 150k in savings, and he had 30k in savings. If they went with an approach of, hey, let's go to Europe, you get paid a lot more than me, you've got a lot more than me, how about you pay a larger proportion than me?
Yeah.
That's fine. I think it makes more of a difference when it's income than when it's savings. Savings are different because savings don't just go up naturally. It's not like a regular income stream naturally because it's savings. So, but essentially if it was like 150k salary and 30k salary, I'd be like, well, let's go, 20-80% or something. Because I think that's fair. Like, it's one of the balances of when you're in a relationship where there's a large salary difference. But this is a case of, no, you're paying for me. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely not. I mean, it's the I don't know, is gold digger pure? No, yeah, gold digger. He's a gold digger.
So, Well, I don't think he. Okay, well, I'll respond to that comment first. I want to give you a relevant comment that she wrote.
Okay.
He found out because we went to visit my family in Italy, and my parents and grandparents and two sets of aunts and uncles that we visited all have very large, lavish places. I live in a smallish apartment that suits my needs, but the difference between my apartment and my home back in Italy was very noticeable. He asked me what was up, and I told him my family is wealthy, and it's not something I tried to let define me. The relationship was pretty good up until he found out. I would hate to break up with him because I do love him and love being with him, but the way he was acting plus past experiences pretty much tells me things are only going to go south now. I was treated very well, I was happy, and yes, he has a consistent job.
I suppose it doesn't really change anything for me, but if you want to give him the chance, you need to call it out straight away and stamp it out now.
No, but it was more to show you that, like, the money is like partially family money.
Yeah.
It was more like
People get weird when there's money around. People get very weird when there's money around.
and she owns her own business too, by the way. That's in a separate
Oh,
comment.
wow, okay. Yeah, I think, fundamentally there's nothing wrong with you end up paying for more things because you've got a lot more money or anything like that, but it's the attitude which is really important. So, if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, then you need to, in my opinion, stamp it out now. You've got to be very clear and say, hey, look, I know I've got this money, but just because we're in a relationship doesn't mean you can somehow expect me to suddenly buy you all these things.
It's like, because he says ours.
Yeah, ours is the most. Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's like Shaq. I'm rich.
My kids aren't. Yeah.
My kids aren't rich. I'm rich.
Yeah. No, it's exactly. And they're not even engaged. It's a bit like the classic for him. Like, look, if you're wanting the money that much, literally just go and get yourself an engagement ring, propose to her, and then maybe you've suddenly found yourself in the money. But no, from her point of view, I would just say, not run, but you don't need that.
Have a serious, honest conversation.
Yeah.
Right, there's an update. As I said, this was 8 years ago. So, what? So, I didn't automatically dump my boyfriend. I decided I'd have a talk with him. Told him that it was basically really appropriate to find out I have money and start making demands. I told him I have no problem using my finances for a relationship, but that he shouldn't automatically expect that I'm going to put out money on very expensive things for him just
Amen.
because.
Yeah, 100%.
He seemed very ashamed and agreed that it was a really crappy thing to do, and he got carried away and a bit too excited. I told him I understand, but to do that was very disrespectful to me and the time we've shared together, because it made me feel like all of a sudden my money is what mattered. For a little while, it seemed all was well. Then the other day, we were having a minor argument over something and it turned into a bigger argument, and he said something along the lines of, well, you don't even want to use what you have for us, so maybe you never fucking cared about me. He got really quiet as though he knew that was a shitty thing to say, and we didn't talk until 2 days later. I was really angry and I was going to talk things through with him. He told a couple people we were good with, despite me asking him to keep the money quiet, that I was really rich and I could afford tons of shit. How did I find out? Saturday, we all went drinking together. He gets a bit too much in his system and orders an expensive bottle of wine. One of our friends was like, who orders that shit? We're good with our beers and that's too expensive. Our other friend piped up and was like, no, it's good. You family heiress, who is OP, is really rich. She can pick up our tab tonight. Cue several other people who I've never told about my family's money suddenly grilling me on why I never trusted them enough to tell them about my money. And thought we're friends, that kind of thing. I broke up with him the next day. He's been blowing up my phone all day, but fuck him. I could have moved past what he said the other day when we were arguing, but to tell people I specifically asked him not to, something I trusted him so much with. Yeah, I've lost a 3-year relationship and I'm probably going to lose a few friends as well. Oh, edit for anyone asking, the bottle was $460 dollars.
Yeah. Just people get crazy when there's money around. It's a real shame that your friends reacted that way. I think that's really quite sad. I mean, I think we all know the boyfriend's a shitty boyfriend. I hope it works out with the friends, and the friends maybe just said what they said with under the influence of too many beers. Like, oh, why didn't you trust me? We're not real friends. I hope that isn't a comment they actually mean.
Yeah.
Because actually it's got nothing. It shouldn't make any difference.
And it's also incredibly sad that the moment there was any money involved, that it changed
the dynamic.
Oh
yeah, they'll pick up the tab.
To two relationships, honestly.
Yeah.
And 400 and this is something very particular with, like, no matter how wealthy you are, there is an amount of money that it is not okay for someone to spend, thinking that it's free, thinking that you're okay to spend that money. And I'm not just talking about buying one singular expensive bottle of wine. I mean, if we all go out to dinner and we agree to split the tab between all of us, and then one person decides to order the most expensive thing on the menu, and then cocktail after cocktail after cocktail after cocktail, being like, it's fine because we're splitting the bill.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's just kind of...
It's a lack of respect.
Yeah, it's very disrespectful. In the end, I would have ended that relationship too.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like the last nail in the coffin, right? With just betraying trust, so... Yeah.